Cast your mind back 20 years and luxury cars were mostly big sprawling limousines with expensive options and even bigger price tags. But these days, the definition of luxury has changed.
Little luxury, as it's colloquially becoming known as, is now one of the biggest segments in the prestige market. The monopoly of traditional limousines in the market has ended, and it's now possible to get a luxury badge for under $40,000. Here we're driving three distinctly different but relevant takes on little luxury: the Audi A3, the Mercedes-Benz CLA 200 and the Range Rover Evoque.
In many ways, Audi's A3 helped kickstart the little luxury genre when it was first introduced back in 1997. It combines an obtainable entry price with decent driving dynamics and a high-level finish.
The A3 has been a mainstay of the Audi range ever since it was introduced, and now a new sedan variant is set to help the German brand gain a stronger foothold in the entry luxury segment. The A3 range starts from $35,600. There's a selection of powertrains available, including the 2-litre diesel that we drove. Inside, the A3 receives an understated but high-quality finish with soft-touch leather seats, ambient lighting and a large centre display. The first ever Audi A3 sedan only lobbed in Australia earlier this year. The booted version obviously brings another element to Audi's entry luxury segment. The 2-litre turbo diesel engine is a really perky little unit. One of the real advantages of these entry luxury models is the fact that they actually receive a lot of the safety technologies that companies like Audi have usually reserved for their much higher up models. In the case of the A3, well, it's got forward collision warning, blind spot monitoring, and the general structure of the car obviously inherits a lot of the features found in models higher up. And the same can be said for the driving and handling characteristics of the A3 sedan as well. The car obviously has a lot of sporty pretensions, but it's also kind enough in daily driving. When you do choose to stick it through a corner or some more enthusiastic driving, well, the car really comes into its own.
For many people, the Mercedes-Benz badge is the pinnacle of luxury, but the German brand has almost broken convention with a new series of front-wheel drive, 4-cylinder cars, like the CLA 200. As you can see inside, this car still oozes Mercedes-Benz luxury, but with a slightly racy theme.
Priced from just under $50,000 plus on-road costs, the baby CLA heralds a new era of access for aspiring Benz customers. Essentially a 4-door coupe version of the Mercedes A-Class, the trendy new model borrows styling cues from the more expensive and lavish CLS Coupe. Under the bonnet resides a 115 kilowatt 1.6-litre turbocharged engine mated to a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic. Inside, the CLA scores Alcantara seats and tasteful ambient lighting to match its 18-inch wheels and hunkered down road stance.
The new CLA range treads a slightly different path for the Mercedes-Benz brand, and for badge purists, something that could take a little bit of time to get used to. The idea of a front-wheel drive, 4-cylinder engine Mercedes is a little bit quirky to some, but in this case it definitely works. While the little 4-cylinder engine pales against some of Mercedes-Benz legendary V8s, it certainly gets along pretty briskly and has actually proven a fair bit of fun to drive as well. And there's no doubt about it, Mercedes have definitely spent a bit of time tinkering with this car's ride and handling, because it's certainly a lot of fun through the corners. The steering in the CLA is really good, it's sharp with a terrific level of feel, which sort of works well in everyday settings, but also when you do want to take the thing for a bit of a whirl. The Range Rover brand is synonymous with off-roading and luxury, but the Evoque treads a slightly different path to its older siblings, offering affordability and trendiness in a much smaller package. There's even a 2-wheel drive model available.
Last year, the Evoque accounted for 60% of all Range Rover sales in Australia. The trendy new model stays true to all the important hallmarks of the brand in quality and refinement, but gives aspiring buyers a much cheaper entry price. Starting from just above $50,000, the Evoque is available in 24 different grades, including the all-wheel drive TD4 Prestige that we drove. Behind the wheel, the Evoque is very different to what you might expect from a traditional Range Rover. Other than a descent control button on the dash, there's no real cues to its off-roading ability. The
The SUV design is almost like a hatch on stilts, and the driving position is very car-like, and in terms of handling, well, it's quite an agile performer compared to some of the other SUVs that are on the market. The steering has a terrific amount of feel to it, and the car actually holds itself pretty well through corners. Even though the Evoque range starts at about $50,000, it still receives a lot of the fitment and trims of the higher spec models, though obviously not as good a quality. In the model we're driving, you've obviously got the nice soft touch leather, the stitched material in the dash, but also a lot of the safety technologies that you'd find on the larger Range Rover siblings. Well, as these three vehicles show, luxury cars today come in various shapes and sizes, and with so many competitors in this part of the market, they're more obtainable now than ever before.